Laser Beak, TT Aura, Ron Sayers Entertainment,
My whole crew's on some shit, scuffing up your Nikes, spitting on your whip, kicking out your DJ, rock it then we dip, getting crazy like a motherfucker. Looking out the window like Malcolm. Just when I thought this culture was open, they go and doubt them. Fuck them in the town, spit ice, skip jewelry, Molotov cocktails on me like accessories. They can teach you how to front, I am really raw. I ain't seen a mirror in a month, but I stay fly. Spinning man, yeah, flipping out with the breeze. I'm a ceiling fan, I'ma get him. I can show you how to bump something heavy in the back. Marshall stacks in the trunk, got the windows down, I got the heat turned up. On blast, wagging on them on the West Bank, handling the style. Or catch me on a mission, pissing in some convertible, trying to create some tension. Or in a book discussing Christopher Hitchens, or how to make bombs with shit you find in your kitchen. Listen, hey, my whole crew's on some shit, scuffing up your Nikes, spitting on your whip, kicking out your DJ, rock it then we dip. We don't watch the replay, hey, hey, hey. My whole crew's on some shit, scuffing up your Nikes, spitting on your whip, kicking out your DJ, rock it then we dip. We don't watch the replay, hey, I never cared about your bucks, so if I run up with a mask on, probably got a gas can too. And I'm not here to fill her up, nope, we came to riot, here to incite. We don't want any of your stuff, keep sticking to the script, man. We never seen that shit, we knew the secret before they went ahead and WikiLeaks it. Made it dub, bang it out the speakers, hoping to smash capital quotes and the word leaders. Wait, they in the past, so we dancing on they ashes. Onward, upward, laughing at the masses, thinking while they sit, I just go off on they ass. Wearing last year's trash, ladies still be batting lashes and trying to smash. It's the passion, the goal, the lack of a muzzle and a style that's fucking irrational. Ain't fucking around.
fuck your stuff. I mean, for real. We genuinely believe that all of your shit is fake. Understand, my whole crew's on some shit, scuffing up your Nikes, spitting on your whip, kicking out your DJ, rock it then we dip. We don't watch the replay. Ay, I ain't kidding.
TeamBodybuilding.com in the house. Mike Hildebrand, Kris Gethin. We just finished smashing back. We've never trained together. We live in Boise. I lived in Boise back in 2007, moved away 2010, came back like a year ago, and we still haven't got a workout together until now. Long time coming, huh?
Long time coming. So good.
So we're in Axiom here, Park Center. Tell these guys a little bit about you. What's your role here with Axiom?
So I'm the area director of fitness for Axiom. So I'm in charge of all the fitness programming, personal training for all 4 of our Treasure Valley locations. So we're here in the Park Center Club today. This is kind of the mothership club. As you know, you've trained at all 4 of them. It's our biggest club, about 60,000 square feet, and it's a pretty place.
Yeah.
It's a good place. A lot of natural lighting coming in, so it's a fun place to train.
It's a pretty place now. You're here, pretty boy.
Yeah, but I'm not just a pretty boy.
Not just a pretty boy. Yeah, he actually, I thought, a bit of a pretty boy. I will bury him, but nah, he's a strong guy, and it was good because that motivated me. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of competitiveness between you both, but that's good. It pushes each other. So I probably wouldn't have pushed myself quite as hard as I did today, knowing that the camera's watching. I'm training with Mike, and that's good. It kind of, you leave here feeling that you've succeeded before you even tackle the day. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we went through a back workout today. My lower back was still sore after doing a CrossFit session with Leah Dolan and Nick here the other day. Is your lower back still sore? No? I must have been pushing it harder. Because my lower back, so I thought, forget deadlifts today. We'll just hit a lot of row movements. So we did some unique movements. There's some that Nick showed us, some that we kind of figured out when we looked at some of the machines. Can you remember what we even started with?
So we started with that single arm row on the,
that's right.
Typically people using it for like a deadlift or a shrug.
Do you know the name of that machine?
I don't know.
Man, and you work
Right, unilateral, hammer strength,
shrug or deadlift or whatever. Anyway, so we use that as like a single arm row machine. And as opposed to doing it with a dumbbell, sometimes I find when I'm using a dumbbell, to pull it back to target my lats, I have to use a lot of leverage throughout my torso, and I'll wake up the next day with my obliques sore and my waist is thick enough as it is. So when I do that on a machine, I feel that I'm able to still go heavy but target the traps a little bit more than the torso, so less stability. And you can find an appropriate place on a machine to lean against. But if you don't have a machine like that, obviously sometimes when you lean down on a bench and use a dumbbell one arm at a time, sometimes that takes the pressure off the torso. What did you think?
No, I mean, I noticed a lot more. I was able to hit the lats a lot better than I was with a dumbbell because it tracked back that range of motion on the machine naturally. Pivot forward on the machine. So like you said, instead of using a lot of torso, I wasn't having to move. And normally with a dumbbell, when you fatigue, you start getting a lot more traps and a lot more biceps in it. You were able to pull back. So I felt that in my lats like I never feel a dumbbell.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth. We'll feel the biceps a lot more as you reach failure as well. And that range of motion kind of shortened. So that was good. So we started with that exercise. Then Nick showed us an exercise where we were using a barbell to begin with on a bent over row, using a bench to support ourselves to really make it strict. And then we supersetted that, going lighter with dumbbells, coming in more of a V direction to really target the traps as opposed to pulling back and targeting the traps. So we really dug in deep, reaching failure obviously at one point and then digging deeper again, reaching failure with the dumbbells. I didn't feel too much exhaustion or fatigue throughout my biceps as long as I came out like that. If I brought it too close to the bench, then I found I was getting a little bit more. I would probably be able to do more reps, because we're getting assistance. But I found just by coming out like that, really targeting the traps without fatiguing on I'd say weakest link, not looking too weak yourself, but we weren't really fatiguing the biceps, so we were targeting our strongest link.
Well, I think with the chest supported too, it'll help to isolate the upper back and those traps. And normally if I'm doing like a bent over dumbbell row or barbell row, you're using a lot of erectors to pull yourself up. It's easy to cheat on. So for that is by, the 8th rep, you just felt that upper back and those traps just screaming. And like you said, keeping those elbows out with that chest supported, I think it was just a great way to isolate that upper back.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't both always train in the morning, you especially. So using machines and supports and stuff like that is probably the safer way for us to train when we're slightly dehydrated, because Mike was saying he drinks a gallon just before midday. He didn't have that opportunity this morning training at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So by performing movements that are a little bit stricter, that are supported, we're playing it the safe route as opposed to playing with danger.
Yeah.
The next exercise after that, did we go straight back onto that shrug machine again following that with the...
Yep.
Okay, so Jason Poston showed me this exercise a couple of weeks ago when we trained back in Texas at Destination Dallas, and that's a good movement. I find that you do have to go a lot lighter, especially if you're bent right over, so it's a little bit more like a pendulum sort of angle as opposed to more of a 45-degree upright, just to really target the lower traps, but more so the lats. I thought that I felt more than anything, much like when you're hitting the Christmas tree on stage. That was kind of the action that we were pulling into the lower belly and getting that contraction there, and then immediately following with the single arm cable rows. This is something that I learned from Ulysses training with him once, really coming up nice and high, targeting the traps there, working the negative, getting a good stretch, and we use that as our superset before going back and hitting that, we'll call it Poston row, and going back to the Ulysses row on the other side, because obviously we've done bilateral, then we go to unilateral. It wouldn't make sense to do both sides unilaterally, because this one would have completely recovered after you've already done the bilateral pre-fatigue. Am I making sense?
No, that makes sense. And even on like that Poston row, one thing that I noticed doing it with the machine there to support is, again, you were able to target that Christmas tree, those lats a little more because you didn't have the bar swinging out in front of you.
Yeah.
You were able to keep it in that range of motion that you really wanted to hit the lats, and then by coming over and hitting that high row, really being able to target part of the back that we weren't hitting so much on the Poston row.
Yeah, and again, we could kind of pull our body forward, pivot a little bit so we can really target where traps are.
And as you fatigue on a normal barbell row, I find myself starting to come up a little more like this too, and you can keep yourself forward so you can really target those lats.
Yeah, you normally come upright and you're almost shrugging. Speaking of which, we went onto a shrug movement. Next, we went onto that bicep what's it called?
Yeah, it was a bit of
should know all
selectorized bicep curl.
Selectorized bicep curl. So we were facing the machine, overhand grip, obviously, much like a shrug, holding the handles very close as opposed to out wide, and beginning with more like an upright row, bending the elbows, using as full a range of motion as we possibly could, for about 15 repetitions. And once failure set in, we hit another 15 repetitions, however, just shrugging it. So we're able to target a little bit of the rear lower traps, or middle portion of the traps, I should say, and then finish off with the upper portion with the shrug motion.
Yeah, a lot of blood flow, a lot of volume to the traps there. And by doing that, you're right, the upright row really allowed you to get a little more out of it at first, but as that fatigued, it just isolated those traps for those last 15. And you did. You felt the volume, you felt the pump start coming in the traps. That's a unique feeling to actually have like a pump in your traps. But that machine did a good job of just being able to isolate that. So I like that.
Get something different, something unique. And then following on, to finish off with something unique, we went onto the ab crunch machine, I guess we'd call it, facing that and kind of rowing to begin with the elbows off the pad, like rowing into the chest, leaning right back so you could get a full range of motion. And then when we reached failure, 15 repetitions, threw the elbows on the pad and really worked on the, I'd say more like a pull-over movement to really target the upper lats as much as we can, because the biceps were starting to fail then. So putting more emphasis and pressure through the elbows allowed us to take a little bit off the biceps.
Well, I like that machine too, because normally when your biceps fatigue on a row, you don't have an option to start pulling with your elbow. But with that one, when your biceps fatigue at 15, 20 reps, and then you can throw it on there. I mean, I always tell people that pull with your elbow on a row, pull as if it was attached at the elbow. Well, on that one, we actually got to do it for the last few reps.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was a good workout. So there's a lot of volume in there, obviously. We were normally anywhere between like 15, 20, 30 repetitions. However, on any exercise where we did reach failure, like 10 repetitions, we ensured that we supersetted that, so we did get at least 20 repetitions per set. So a lot of volume, but I like that volume again, like I said, first thing in the morning, but not too much, like we're not hitting 50 repetitions. We're hitting that sweet spot between your 8 to 10 and your 40, 50. So right in the middle there. But thank you very much for joining me for this workout, mate. You've got a dental appointment now you need to rush to. Leaving some pain to some more pain.
Some more pain.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's do it again sometime.
Let's do it.
If you like this video and you want more like this, you know what to do, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.